Yo, 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 what up, peeps?
What up? What up?
What it do? Welcome to episode 7.
Seven. Number seven.
Lucky number 7.
Yes.
Welcome to episode 7 of Bear Down Breakdown Podcast. We are your co-hosts. I like to go by the name of Eli.
Um, I like to go by the name of Bruce because that's on my
Oh,
birth certificate.
I thought you were going to sound like you were going to go with something else, but
No.
okay.
This week it's just Bruce.
Oh, this week. Okay. No LeBron shout outs. I see.
No, not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
there's no reason to do that. He's
I mean, it's always
nice.
a reason,
It's
but
no, it's nice and quiet. It's nice and quiet. Let's
okay.
leave it quiet.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, thank you anyone and everyone who are joining us live on the podcast. We always appreciate those who choose to tune in, take time out of their day to watch our beautiful faces and listen to us talk Bears football nonsense. We really appreciate it. And if you're listening audio, we appreciate you too.
Yes.
No difference, but we really, really appreciate the people who watch us live. Like, means a lot. Anyway, episode 7, Bear Down Breakdown. We have a lot to talk about today. We are going to discuss our boy Justin Fields. He had a brilliant game 3 of the preseason.
He did. He did.
We want to talk about that a little bit. We want to talk about his improvement. All of the the people who are going back and forth, whether they want to hate him or love him on media, especially the national media. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the 53-man roster. The Bears just announced their 53 today. They made some waiver wire moves. We want to talk about the roster and kind of give our final thoughts of the Chicago Bears roster before we kind of start breaking down week previews. It's already 2 weeks before.
That's crazy.
Or I should say a week and a half before week 1 of the regular season. So the next episode will kind of be doing a week 1 preview of the 49ers. So this episode is kind of our final just gathering of our thoughts of this team and this franchise before the season starts. So, a lot on the table. Today. But before we talk about that, Bruce, gotta ask you, man, every episode, how are you doing?
I'm good. No, I'm not good because, I'm just gonna kind of throw it back at you and talk about that background that you got right now. Compared to my background, my background look like I'm 13 and just just in a corner somewhere, just trying to record.
Your bedroom. Your bed is right.
I'm in my bedroom, right. Like I'm 12 right now, and then I see your background. I'm like, all right, you know what? Next show, I'm gonna put up 3 more posters. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw it back at you and just say thank you for just making me look like I'm 11 right now with that amazing background. Now, before the show, bro, you warned me. You was like,
I did.
Hey, watch this. And when it came on, I was just like, okay, well, we don't got to do the show today. Give me another week. Give me another week to get my life together. But now, bro, just want to show you some love, man. That's beautiful. And look, for those that don't know, like my brother, he's a homeowner, so he's been working on that. And it came out so dope. And bro, like for real, you got my respect, man. You got my respect. We could have just pushed the show back to Friday so I could get a Mike Singletary poster back here or something. Old Jay Cutler poster or something, bro. No, that's dope, man. That's dope. So shout out to you, man. I'm gonna use my time to give you some love. So yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
No doubt. How you been? Man?
Good. I'm good. As you can see, this is my basement and I've been working on it for a couple of weeks. It feels like a month now. Since I bought the house in November, But yeah, I mean, I got a little corner studio. I got this took a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of you know, a lot of investment. um, but yeah, I mean, it's coming together. I got to get ready for week 1 because I plan on having some people over, celebrate. Obviously the Bears game and finally having a man cave. Like
Right.
that's like almost every sports lover man/women's dream is
No
having a
doubt.
place
Yeah.
to go to that's very sports centric, that kind of allows you to use your creativity and how you want it to look, and where you can go just chill, watch games. Not even that, just watch movies, like
Right. Right.
stuff like that, just like an entertainment center.
No doubt.
So yeah,
doubt.
I mean, I just kind of building it slowly but surely, and hopefully, Bruce, you'll come over soon and check it out, and
Oh, you already know. Gotta
and
slide through, man.
yeah, we'll see how it turns out, but I'm excited for it for sure.
The only thing is, I feel like we can't watch an important game together.
Yeah,
I think we're okay this season. I don't think it's gonna be too many
no playoff games this year, probably.
Yeah. So we should be cool, but when Jay Fields leads us to that Super Bowl within the next couple of years, we may have to just kind of question if we want to watch that game together.
Yeah, I mean, we'll test the waters to see how
Okay.
many games we watch this year and what happens, what our record is when we watch games together. Because right now it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. I think we may have watched one win, maybe out of like the 5 games we saw.
Yeah. And to our new listeners, let's preference by saying I feel like me and Eli, we come together to watch games when it matters, like when it's something that's on the line, and it hasn't really been successful.
Yeah, it has not been fruitful.
We get together, right? Not at all. Not at all.
It has not been fruitful. So we'll see. We'll test the waters this year, and maybe it'll give us some hope for next year. Anyway, speaking of hope, I think the Bears have some. I think the Bears have some hope.
Yep.
Because our boy Justin Fields put on a first half show.
He did.
Against the team that sacked him 9 times last year in his very fell start. The game that pretty much put the final nail in Matt Nagy's coffin for being the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I'm sure he had some PTSD walking into that building, walking on that field.
Man.
But I mean, it didn't show once it came game time.
Right.
I mean, 156 yards. He was 14 of 16, 3 tutties, 3 beautiful tutties he tossed in that game. And yeah, I mean, he just looked confident.
Yeah.
He looked well prepared, well coached. The whole offense executed plays in ways that I have not seen in years.
Right.
It's probably the Mark Trestman era.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, he just made. He did everything. He played from the pocket. Luke Getsy called some bootlegs. He scrambled out of the pocket when he needed to, found guys, kept his eyes down the field. His mechanics were great. I mean, it just looked like a completely different quarterback, and probably by far his best first half of his entire career.
I agree.
I think it's safe to say. Even in that game in Pittsburgh last year, I know he torched the Lions last year as well in the regular season, but in terms of just one full half of football, of solid football and well-rounded QB play, this was probably his best.
I agree.
What are your thoughts, Bruce, on not just the game, but just Justin Fields in terms of what he's looking like this year under this new coaching staff?
Two things you just mentioned in describing this particular game, but I think is going to carry into the season, and that's him being confident and him being well coached. And like I'm on the you need to have the right coaches in place. I'm on that wagon with you, because you know me, like I was always the guy that was like, nah, gotta be the players gotta blah blah blah. And it's night and day when you actually get a coaching staff in here that knows what the heck they're doing. And you saw that with Justin Fields. I mean, and ultimately it's up to him, right? He has to be the one to throw the football. Coaches can't do it for him. He has to be the one to read the plays and things of that nature. But it's just amazing when you actually have a coordinator, an offensive coordinator that knows how to call plays, that knows how to put their quarterback in the right situation. And to your point, man, he just looked confident. He looked so confident. And you saw that, like I think you slowly saw the progression from the first preseason game to the last preseason game. And now how that carries over into the regular season, still to be determined. But you just hit it on the head with him looking confident and just having the right coach, just having the right plays called for him. And he just looked like it's just like, oh man, we got us a real quarterback. Like we got us a real offense. We got a coordinator that actually knows how to call a game. And that's encouraging. And like I said, it's still, to be determined within the regular season, but it gives us hope. It gives us hope, and that's all we're looking for. We don't have the best roster, and I know we'll get into the 53 man soon, but we don't have that Super Bowl caliber type roster, but it gives you hope. And the one thing that I love about this team, and I mentioned this in the last podcast, and just kind of know we segueing a little bit off Justin Fields, but it's just how hard they play. They play so hard, and I just believe that's going to keep them in games. Back to Justin Fields, the fact that he just looked confident. He looked so confident. Like he looked like, how they say he belongs, right? And he just in that game, he just really looked like he belonged. And it caught the attention to a lot of the naysayers, And I know they wanted to say like, oh, it's just a preseason game and Cleveland didn't have this and they didn't, but it's just about this kid developing, and I just think he's on the right track. I definitely believe he's on the right track.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he looked completely different. And when we first started this Bear Down Breakdown podcast, our very first episode, and we kind of gave a generalized opinion on this new regime and this team. And this was obviously before free agency. This was before the draft. This was before pretty much almost everything in terms of what the new regime, what their moves were. But I said in our very first episode that I think we are going to see just how bad of a coach Matt Nagy was, because coaching, especially offensively, is so important. So important. Play calling is important. Executing plays and teaching how the play needs to be executed is so important. And you literally, it was like a breath of fresh air watching this offense go to work. And albeit, yes, Cleveland didn't have two of their best starters defensively, Myles Garrett obviously being one of them. I think Myles Garrett had 4 or 5 sacks on Justin Fields last year. I get that. Yeah. But granted, I'm pretty sure everyone else on that Cleveland Browns defense was a starter. So he can only play who he plays against. If he didn't play well, we would be trashing him. So give credit where credit is due, and Justin Fields played really well against that defense. And the play calls, the way almost every single dude knew where they were supposed to be. Wasn't a whole lot of pre-snap penalties, which is something that just you saw almost every single time with that offensive line under Matt Nagy. And I believe there was one holding call where, God, I forget who it was. I think maybe it was Braxton Jones. I don't know. It was called for a holding on a run play on first down, 1st and 20. They weathered the storm. They got the first down on that drive and scored a touchdown on that drive. I cannot remember a time where the Bears had a holding penalty, where put them back 10 yards, and not only did they get the first down, they scored on that drive.
Yeah.
I don't know the statistic on that, obviously, but I cannot remember a time where the Bears offense actually did that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a new regime. Like G Station 7 said, who's watching us on YouTube, new coach, new head coach, different results. And it's definitely something that you can see is evident with this Bears team and how they play.
Agreed.
Is not only do they play hard, which Bruce, I know you keep harping on, which is 100%
Mm-hmm.
true, but they're playing sound. They're playing discipline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so evident, and it's a breath of fresh air. And yeah, I just find it interesting that a lot of people are kind of like completely just based off one half of preseason football changing their narrative on Justin Fields. And it's like I hear
right.
I hear someone compared him to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like,
oh, whoa.
I was like, I think it was what's his name? Former Jets wide receiver who's on ESPN now. Keyshawn Johnson. I think he said that, like, yeah, like Justin Fields, what he's doing out there looks a lot like Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Let's slow down. Slow down, Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Slow down. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves there, okay? Great comparison. I mean, great. Like, it's good that the national media is giving Justin Fields some love, but it's stuff that we've already. I just feel like we saw it. We saw the potential that's there. It was just a matter of somebody just getting in here and just unlocking that potential, putting him in the right position to be successful. And now that he had, I mean, and we talk about this all the time. If you think about the season that he had, not just on the field, but off the field, with the injuries, with the great Nick Foles and Andy Dalton, outshine, being your starting quarterback. When you go through all that, the kid had a lot to deal with off, with a lot of the just off the field stuff. And so now you just see him I think he's putting it together. Again, what the regular season is going to look like, we don't know. But I just feel like we're in the right, he's headed in the right direction. So, but Patrick Mahomes, whoa.
Yeah, and it's just it's like, if they're not going to the extreme of like saying that he's the next Patrick Mahomes or comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, people are saying, "Oh, the Bears fans now have hope."
Yeah,
and it's like, y'all just weren't watching. Y'all just looked at his stats last year, looked at the Bears' record last year, saw that Matt Nagy was fired last year, and said, "Oh, Justin Fields must be a wash." Like, no, that. And I tweeted this as well. The hope started the night he was drafted. Like,
exactly.
That's when the hope for us started. At least for me. I can't speak for every Bears fan, but like,
same here. Yeah,
like it didn't end after last season ended, and Justin Fields' rookie year wasn't what we all thought it was going to be. I didn't miss the forest for the trees in knowing that Justin Fields has every single tool needed to be not just a good quarterback in this league, a great quarterback in this league, a superstar quarterback in this league. He just needs someone to look at his potential, look at his skill set, and build around that instead of trying to make Justin Fields fit their system, fit their scheme, fit their play calling. And it's as simple as that. And the fact that you have people out here getting paid millions and millions of dollars to talk about sports, can't realize that is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's mind-boggling. But anyway, the arrow's pointing up, apparently, for Justin Fields.
Definitely pointing up.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do against Trey Lance in week 1.
But anyway, that's an interesting situation in San Francisco. They just re-sign Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, and obviously we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next episode when we preview that week 1 matchup. But yeah, I bet Trey Lance isn't happy about that one. They got a situation. They got a situation up there. Anyway, let's move on to this 53-man roster. So I don't want to go down the line and just read the roster and obviously get our thoughts on it, but
Right.
there were some moves made in terms of the waiver wire, and I do want to read this statistic real quick. And this is before they made any waiver wire moves, so a lot of these
Okay.
statistics probably changed.
Mhm.
But Brad Biggs, obviously, he covers the Bears locally. He had a very, very, very interesting tweet about the Bears' 53-man roster. So it includes 10 of 11 draft picks. Doug Kramer was one of them. He was put on IR. That's the only one that's not technically included on the 53-man. 13 rookies in total, including undrafted free agents Jalen Jones, Jack Sanborn, and Jake Tonjes. 7 players are in year 2 of the NFL. Of those 20 players in total, 7 likely week 1 starters. And 38% of the roster is rookies or year 2 players.
Wow.
That is how you build.
Definitely.
That is how you rebuild. That is how you rebuild. And not only that, but like so many of these players obviously are on 1 to 2 year deals. So many of them have so much to prove. We talked about it a little bit last week. I'm pretty sure we talked about it almost every episode about how they've built this roster and how Coach Eberflus wants them to play. Coach Eberflus wants them to play fast and hard. Ryan Poles is taking swings at a bunch of guys who have something to play for, who have a chip on their shoulder. So it's very easy for them to play fast and hard. But yeah, just real quick, what are your thoughts on that, B?
I just think, like you said, if you want to, rebuilding, you have to do it the right way because you're legit breaking everything down and you're starting over. And I think sometimes, we as fans and even to a degree the team itself, is a little impatient. So because you feel the pressure, you feel that pressure of winning now. So when you talk about rebuild and you see the way the Bears are doing it, and it's exactly what Ryan Poles, this is what he said. This is what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it. And the fact that, it's impressive. You said 7 guys are going to be opening starters.
7 guys are projected to be week 1 starters. Yeah.
If you hit, let's just say you hit on at least 4 of those guys. That in itself is encouraging because now you have building blocks moving forward. So, hats off to Ryan Poles. And I love that. Look, I'm okay with the Bears not having the best season. Like, I'm okay with that because, you just look forward, you look towards the future and you see like they're starting to have solid pieces in place where you can now build and you can have success long term, because that's what we always talk about with these Bears teams. I'm so tired of the one-hit wonders. And I think and I mentioned this, like, they don't, like, you think about the one-hit wonders that's that they last for, they're cool, right? They're cool for like the summer, but then you don't go to the club asking for the one-hit wonders. Like, you want you want like longevity. And that's the thing with these Bears teams of the past, is that they'll win for 1 year and then they struggle for the next 5 years. And we get tired of that as Bears fans. We want longevity. We want sustainability. And I think this is how you do it. So hats off to Ryan Poles. Like, man, this is very, very, very encouraging for the simple fact that, you look at Justin Fields, and I know that's the guy like we look at and we're just saying, okay, he's in his second year. We're going to have him. We got him locked up for the future and whatever. But it's other pieces in place that you see that you're just like, okay, we could build with this guy. We could build with this guy. We could build with this guy. And that's big. That's huge. That's huge. So again, shout out to Ryan Poles. This is what he said he wanted to do,
My
And
camera died. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just change the battery real quick. Bruce, keep it going.
oh yeah, I'm a freestyle after this. And, and this is what they're doing. I want to get back to the playing hard thing because I don't know, man. I think it's because over the last few years, maybe the last 4 to 5 years, we saw that the Bears, those Bears teams, man, they had moments where they just weren't giving 100%, and you saw that on the field. It was just a lot of coasting. They wasn't giving that effort on every play, and I just look at this year's team, and man, it's just so different. It's night and day, and maybe because of the way the roster is constructed, maybe this is why you're getting that effort. But we talked about culture. We talked about them establishing a culture. And I think that culture is that you're going to come here. If you play on this team, no matter if you're a Roquan Smith or no matter if you're a Jack Sanborn, you're going to give that same effort, that same 100% effort. And you talked about not only playing hard, but being disciplined. And that was an interesting stat that I read where the Bears were penalized a total of just 13 penalties in the preseason. In 3 preseason games, the Bears were penalized a total of only 13 times. And when you think about that, it's in the preseason where you're probably the most heavily penalized anyway because it's the preseason. And I just think that discipline, the fact that they're playing hard, the fact that they're establishing this culture of being disciplined, playing hard, and that's a tribute to the coaching staff. It's amazing what a coaching staff that man that just knows what they're doing can just do to a team. And again, we know that this Bears roster is not the best, but it's that culture. It's the culture that they're establishing that I'm excited about. So yeah, I mean, and again, hats off to Ryan. Hats off to Ryan Poles for doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it. We're seeing it before our eyes.
Yep. Thank you, Bruce, for carrying that. Appreciate it.
Got you, brother.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard of most of what you said, and I agree wholeheartedly. Just real quick on some of the players that the Bears actually claimed from the waiver wire. Mind you, the Bears were the most active team in the NFL claiming players off of the waiver wire. They claimed 6, which is, I believe, one more than the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the top waiver wire priority. So that says something. But the players that they claimed are defensive back Josh Blackwell from the Eagles, defensive end Kingsley Jonathan from the Bills, or Jonathan Kingsley, one of those. Offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood from the Raiders, which that is
that's an interesting one.
The popular one that everyone's talking about. But this next one is the one that I think is going to be the most productive, and he's defensive tackle Armand Watts from the Vikings. We'll talk about him in a second. They also got linebacker Steven Weatherford from the Colts and tight end Trevin Wesco from the Jets. Those are all 6 players that they claimed off of waivers. So Alex Leatherwood, let's just break him down real quick. So for those who don't know, for those who live under a rock, Alex Leatherwood was the 2021 first-round draft pick for the Raiders. He obviously came out of where? Where did he come from?
Roll Tide, Alabama.
I just wanted to lay that up there for you, B.
Appreciate that.
No problem. So, yeah, he was a beast. Did he play right or left side for Alabama? I think he played right side, right?
I think he played right, yeah.
Okay. From what I've heard, and obviously I'm not a big college football, draft enthusiast, but from what I've heard, he was a beast in Alabama. Obviously he was a first-round pick. He's only 23 years old. The Bears had to pay him $5 million within the next 3 years. And obviously, he struggled his rookie year based off of what I'm hearing. Didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Raiders football last year, but From what I'm hearing, he struggled his rookie year playing right tackle. So what does Ryan Poles do? He says, okay, y'all about to cut a first round draft pick from last
Right.
year. Okay. Okay. At offensive line, nonetheless. Okay. Okay. Let me kick the tires on that one. See what we can do with that guy. Because look what we did with Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah.
He was a guy that was drafted last year in the second round, projected to be a first round pick. Obviously, there was a lot of drama with him in the beginning, with the coaching staff and all that. But they said, okay, let's see what we could do with this kid. Let's kick him inside at right guard and look at. He's projected to be the starting right guard for the Chicago Bears this year after everything that they went through with him. So
Yeah.
I have full confidence that they could take this kid, Alex Leatherwood, and do something with him. I don't know what. I don't know if this means they kick him on the inside. They end up trading Tevin Jenkins because apparently there's a lot of rumors out there still that G Station 7 said he played left tackle.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for correcting us.
Thank you, sir.
But who knows? Who knows what he can do? I don't know. Like I was saying, there was rumors still out there that the Bears are looking and hearing and taking calls on Tevin Jenkins in terms of trades. So I don't know if this means that the Bears are going to be more actively trying to trade Tevin Jenkins and maybe kick Alex Leatherwood inside. I don't know. Who knows? What are your thoughts on that? The Alex Leatherwood pickup. It was very interesting.
It was interesting. It was very interesting. So when he came out of college, I think a lot of draft experts, although he had a good season at Alabama, really good against the run while he was in college. I think a lot of the pundits wanted him to stay another year. They thought it would have did him some good to stay and improve certain techniques. So I guess he was considered a reach when the Raiders got him at 17, right? Okay. So I know he played right tackle, which is why I thought he played right tackle in Alabama, because I know the Raiders drafted him to be like their cornerstone right tackle. Of course, he struggled. They moved him to right guard. Coming to the offseason, preseason, he struggled again. Boom, they let him go. All right. So how does that benefit the Bears? We'll see. It's just enough. It's why not kick the tires on someone like an Alex Leatherwood, first round pick? So there's talent there. And again, it's one of those moves where competition can be this kid, or a change of scenery can be this kid's. This is probably what he needed. And it's so much competition amongst that offensive line where it's like you put a guy like that, and that just may push him to finally capitalize on the abilities that he has. So we don't know. But it's one of those moves by Ryan Poles that's just like, I trust you. I trust what you're doing, because you have proven to us that this is the route that you're going. Like, this is what you're doing. And so I trust him. I trust to see how this is going to turn out. And imagine if this hits. Imagine if you get a kid who's still young. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. And imagine if this actually works. Then we're looking at Ryan, Poles as a genius for making this move, right? So what is it? Low risk with a possible high reward.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ryan Poles can do absolutely nothing wrong in my eyes right now. Like, I'm so behind this dude, because like I said earlier, man, it's refreshing. Like, he told you exactly what he was going to do coming into this season with this team and how it's going to be constructed. And he has not wavered off that. Like, he is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And I love that, man. Like, the direction. You cannot be surprised by anything that happens to this team this season, because whether they win one game or whether they win whatever, he said, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is what I'm building towards in the future. Like, the fact that they got so much cap space going into the next season. They got $16 million in cap space. after, I know they still got to just mess around with the roster a little bit, but going into the first game of the season, they got $16 million in cap space. Like, everything that he's doing is strategic. Everything he's doing, he's playing chess, not checkers. And this is what he said he was going to do. So he can't do anything wrong in my eyes. He's perfect. He is perfect.
Yeah, I love what he's doing. And I love the pickup that people aren't talking about enough, in my opinion, is Armand Watts. He came from Minnesota. He played in Minnesota his first 3 years. He's only 26 years old. Okay. Last year, his first 2 years, he didn't do a whole lot. But he progressively got better as he got more playing time. Last year, he played in all 17 games, started in 9. He had 2 forced fumbles, 5 sacks, 46 combined tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 10 QB hits. Okay. That's more than 1 QB hit a game that he started in. And like I said, he's only 26 years old. He's 6'5", 307 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah, the dude's big. He's huge. Yeah. And it's obvious that he can play.
Yeah.
And so it was a surprise cut by the Vikings. They probably have some good depth on that interior defensive line. So Ryan Pohl said, okay, I want to get rid of a player who's only getting better every single year. Bet I'll kick the tires on that one, because Lord knows we could use interior defensive linemen on this defense.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think that is the dude that Bears fans really need to keep their eye on, and look out for the name Armand Watts, because I think he's going to contribute immediately. Week 1. I think he's going to be a dog. So look out for that guy.
What's interesting about that cut is the fact that throughout the preseason, he was listed as Minnesota's starting defensive end.
He started. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I guess it shocked a lot of Minnesota fans, but they signed Kirk Cousins, to $90 million guaranteed. So can't be surprised by the things they do up there.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons why they cut him is because Vikings are switching to a 3-4 this year. They were a 4-3 his first 3 years, obviously under what's his name, the head coach for the last
Zimmerman,
Coach Zimmerman. They were a 4-3 defense. Now they're switching to 3-4. He's your typical defensive tackle in a 4-3 defense, and obviously probably a little bit too small to play the 3-4 defensive end, which is weird.
We'll appreciate
yeah, we'll take it. I will take it. He doesn't fit your scheme. Okay, bet.
Cool.
We will take the production while he eats Kirk Cousins alive,
right,
twice a year.
You already know he got those games circled.
Oh yeah.
On the calendar.
Oh yeah. Just like I said, you pick up a guy who has a chip on his shoulder, and the biggest chip on his shoulder is a division rival. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
We will take it. We will take it. And then one guy that I want to circle that you may not hear his name, you may not even see him play this season, but he's a very good depth piece. The Bears signed a guy by the name of Kellen. Don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Deitsch. Diesch. D-I-E-S-C-H. Guessing that's Dutch.
Yeah.
But they signed him to the practice squad.
I'm a third Dutch, so yeah, that's Deitsch.
Oh, okay. Deitsch. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that.
Probably not. I probably said it wrong, but yeah.
But he's an offensive lineman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He played at Arizona State, and at Arizona State, he only surrendered 3 sacks and 8 total pressures in 568 pass rushing attempts. Okay, the dude is 6'7", 300 pounds, and he's super long, which seems like it's what Ryan Pace loves for an offensive lineman. Or Ryan Poles, sorry. Whoa, Not Ryan Pace. Whoa,
Whoa.
I said the bad word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bleep that one out. Ryan Poles seems like the offensive lineman that Ryan Poles really likes.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed him to the practice squad. They get a guy like that on the practice squad. Now, again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's going to end up being a starter. I'm not saying he's going to end up contributing, but I'm just saying it seems like Ryan Poles is really he's signing even the practice squad depth players with purpose.
Right.
Because it just seemed like with other regimes here in Chicago that they're just adding just random dudes to the practice squad,
Yeah.
random dudes for depth positions, and you don't ever hear their name brought up. You don't ever, and when they do end up playing, it's like you can really tell that they probably don't even belong on an NFL roster,
Right.
let alone being a backup around the practice squad.
Yep.
So it just and again the just like the jury's still out on Justin Fields, the jury's still out on Ryan Poles. I know, Bruce, you were just singing his praise.
Mm-hmm.
I've been singing his praise ever since the dude started going to work for us. But yeah, it just has a different feel to it, man, a different feel. And I think I said in the first or second episode of this podcast, it has that Mark Eversley, Arturas Carnicevis feel that they gave Chicago Bulls fans when they walked into the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
That this just feels different. This just feels like these guys know what they're doing. This just feels like these guys are competent. They're intentional with every single move that they do. They're it seems like they're 2 steps ahead of the game than we are, which is what we want. Like,
yeah. I don't want to play GM. I'm not getting paid GM money, so
exactly.
I just want to watch the game and enjoy it. I don't want to.
We should be looking at the. We should be. It's almost a compliment to the fact that everyone is looking at his moves and questioning them. Like, what is he doing? Because it probably means he's way smarter than us,
right?
And is 2 steps ahead of us,
right?
Like,
which is why he's the GM.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody loved everything that Ryan Pace did and agreed with everything that Ryan Pace did. And how did that work out?
Yeah.
So I want my GM to be way smarter than me to make me think like, what the hell is he doing? And then it ends up working out.
Exactly. So, man.
I'm thankful for that.
Yep.
But yeah, Bruce, do you have any final preseason, off-season roster thoughts? Anything on this team before we move on to the regular season type of episodes?
Yes. Look, man, I'm a Bears fan at heart, and I love this team. I love this. I love the Chicago Bears, right? Because that's our team, and I'm cautious to say that I don't feel like this Bears team is quite ready to challenge for any playoff spots, or definitely not Super. But man, do I feel like they have laid the foundation for success in the future. I just truly believe that. And I'm not, look, man, you know me, like I'm very we're honest. We're honest about this organization. In years past, we've been very honest and transparent. And I just really feel like and I know that what the national media is saying, I know that they feel like the Bears are the worst team. You got to just be going off the fact that, they don't have the star names on this roster. And so therefore they're going to be the worst team. Nah, you just got to, the eye test. The eye test means a lot. And I've watched these preseason games, and I've watched how hard they play. The secondary, which was such a weakness last year, can actually be it's probably the strength of could be the strength of our defense. Justin Fields being in his second season, they talk about the wide receivers, but nobody's talking about this running back group. This running back group may be the best, I don't want to say that, I'm not going to say the best in the league, but they have a stable of running backs that, if one, God forbid, goes down, if David Montgomery goes down, they got 2 guys that could fill in and do a great job. They have 3 really solid running backs. So there's some positives on offense and defense. And so I'm an optimist, man. Like I'm looking at this team and I'm just like, look, I know we're not ready to win the Super Bowl quite yet. We may not be able to challenge Green Bay as of yet, but man, the foundation is being laid. The foundation is being laid, Bear fans. So just be patient this year. Be patient this year and just really, really look at this team and see what's happening. It's different. Like I feel it. You know, you just get that feeling, man. Like I'm sorry. You just get the feeling. I got the feeling with the Bulls last year. I remember when the Cubs was doing their thing and you know how they were building and you just felt it. You felt that it was gonna click. And that's what I see that with this Bears team. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this season. I'm really excited about watching this team this season, bro. Like for real. And so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to cover them.
Yeah, same. A couple of notes that I think I missed when kind of going over the roster, but the Bears obviously aren't done building this roster. I think Ryan Poles still is kind of looking to tweak this roster a bit, either right before week 1 or maybe a little after week 1. We'll see, but they definitely need to pick up another tight end. They only have 3 on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 before they picked up the dude off of waivers from the Jets. So they definitely need another tight end. And also, I don't know if you saw, but they put Tajay Sharp on IR.
Yeah.
And it's not the designated to return IR. The dude is out for the year indefinitely. So, and then N'Keal Harry, who I believe they are going to put on the designated to return IR, but he can't come back until week 5 because he has to sit out the first 4 weeks. That's just the rules on that designated to return IR. So another wide receiver is going to be necessary for this team. So the Bears aren't done. Ryan Poles isn't done adding talent. So we'll see. There's a lot of trades still going on in the league. I think Jalen Reagor from the Eagles was just traded to where'd he go? Where'd he get traded to? It's a team with another really good wide receiver. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I wish we could have traded for him, but I think they traded like a 7th and a 5th or something like that for him. But anyway, yeah.
He went to Minnesota.
Minnesota, yes. Yes, in the division. Beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. So and then they have 2 wide receivers over there in Minnesota. So they just traded for Jalen Reagor. So that was a good move by them.
Yeah. 23. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we would have kicked the tires on that one too. Yeah. But there's still a lot of moves to be made for Ryan Poles and this Bears team before week 1 or maybe a little bit after week 1, definitely before the trade deadline. So we will see. We will see what this final roster looks like. I don't think it's fully, technically final.
Right.
Yet. But yeah, like you said, Bruce, I am very much looking forward to covering this team this year on our Bears Only podcast. Again, this is something that we aren't used to. We're used to covering all Chicago sports with our past couple podcasts. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be all Bear Down Breakdown, all Bears this year. So make sure you guys stick with us. Everything you need, Chicago Bears, we got you. The only thing is we may not be here every week.
We're going to try, man. We're going to try, especially with the regular season. We're going to try.
Yes. With the regular season coming, we will try our damnedest to hop on the mics after Bears games and give you our fresh thoughts on what happened and kind of break that down. But yeah, we will do our best. No promises, but we will do our best.
Yes.
Just like the Chicago Bears will. But yeah, that does it for episode 7. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for those who tuned in live. Again, we really appreciate y'all. Go follow our socials. It's Bear Down Breakdown without the O's. So Bear DWN Break DWN. Both on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be doing some giveaways this year.
Yep.
Obviously, as Bruce and I have done with our past podcasts as well. So and we only do those on our socials. So make sure you're following us.
Yep.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We may be doing a giveaway here soon regarding subscribing to our YouTube channel. So if you are subscribed, it'll make it a lot easier for you to enter that giveaway. So make sure you just go to YouTube, hit subscribe. And
simple.
Yeah, super, super simple. Like I said, next week we'll be hopping on the mics to preview week 1 finally. Be our first preview episode. We'll just try to break down every single aspect of this 49ers game before week 1 and give y'all our thoughts on whether or not we going to get this dub week 1. We'll see.
I got them winning week 1.
Oh, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Of next year.
Yo. That was a legendary save there. That was Corey Crawford-esque right there.
Tune in to what I think about this San Francisco game next week.
That was Corey Crawford Stanley Cup type of save. Yeah, I mean, even if he just gave that away, that's fine. You don't know the score that he's gonna give you, so make sure you tune in for the score.
Right.
Anyway, make sure you tune in for that episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But thank you for listening to episode 7, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Peace.